Hey guys, this is Jamie. So I'm still fighting my prolonged ear infection, so I'm sorry that I look quite bust, but anyway. So today I want to talk about specifically uh, not just about Charlie Kirk's assassination, but the facts of how the media, how American politicians are reacting to it. And obviously, I do have to say that it is despicable that a lot of people are sort of upset about the death of someone who, on the opposite, has absolutely zero sympathy for people who died due to gun violence. And I feel like the fact that a right winger and someone who was a Groyper, who was a follower of Nick Fuentes, who is also an alt-right figure, a very sort of right-wing alt-right figure, uh, who encouraged people to go against Charlie Kirk, and obviously this is what happens. And the media has been trying to sort of erase it, polish it. So we've had people like the governor of Utah say that he prayed that it would be someone who wasn't white, who wasn't Christian, who wasn't someone who they considered like part of them, part of the white cis American person that the current political party is trying to push as if that's the only right way to be. And it is insane that we've had a lot of headlines, we've had a lot of tweets, we've had a lot of Republicans come and say things like, oh, this is war, and then they flip it into to say, yeah, we need to pray for this poor young man which got lost in leftist ideology. And then you look into it and it's like, dude was a Groyper, someone who looks up to Nick Fuentes, who factually shot Charlie Kirk because Nick Fuentes didn't like him, is right-wing, and there is nothing left about it. And obviously, this is nothing new to hear right-wing people try to say that anything they don't like is left-wing, including, I guess, someone who shot Charlie Kirk, because it has always been a sort of a point from the right wing to say, oh, the left is fighting, they can't make their minds up, they're all about sloppy about their causes. But in reality, like, sure, yes, the left is messy, but so is the right, because they can't agree on a bunch of issues. And in general, I feel like certain things like Israel and Palestine, and for some reason, like the opinion of who do people support, even though obviously there's a famine in Gaza, and obviously it's caused by Israel. But people still sort of think like, okay, I can be like pro-Palestine and like pro-USA or whatever, and then you can dig into it and then they're anti-Semites. Or you can have someone who's pro-Palestine but at the same time a fucking piece of shit right-winger from the US. Or you can have someone who is pro-Ukraine but not in like a weird Nazi way, and be pro-Israel. So we have all these layers, and I feel like in general people need to understand as well that our political system has just managed to spin itself out of orbit. So we have identity politics, and we have sort of insane takes. There's a lot of international conflicts we need to take into account. People can't really be pacifists anymore because we need to boost defenses in Europe and stuff like that. And obviously, because things are so uncertain, of course, people, when they're reporting or when they're doing articles, are going to change their opinions. But another thing is when you change the opinion according to how the truth comes out or how more facts are told. But when you try to twist it to a narrative that you don't even know if it makes sense, and it only makes sense to sort of your small group of people, that's where you're losing the plot. Not only you're lying to your followers, you're lying to the people who you're talking to, and you're blaming the blame on other people, but that can also factually be a reason for even more infighting in the right wing crowd. And of course, I want the right wing crowd to collapse. And I'm tired of seeing people blame the left for things that obviously we're not doing. And this whole Charlie Kirk situation has gone so much out of hands that even for me to sit now and sort of analyze it thoroughly, it's very difficult to sort of even remove him from the equation of world politics at this point, because we have obviously protests in the UK, which by Tommy Robinson, which go to say things like, yeah, we're trying to bring our UK culture back, and it's like, what UK culture? Tracksuits. But on a serious note, I do want to say, like, what are you trying to say when the UK has been a melting pot for quite a while, and the culture they want to bring back is literally just racism, and it is the equivalent of a half-mast McDonald's flag, you know? So it's very difficult, and obviously there's crackdowns on the internet, and people have been trying to be more conscious of what they post, and at the same time people lash out on other people to say things like, oh, why don't I get attention, or other things like, why do they get attention, and people just start sort of just badgering each other over the smallest things, because if you're policing people on another thing, on a reason A, they're going to lash out on a reason B. And we have the EU laws coming in, which we don't know how will they affect things. So it's a very bizarre thing to sort of even sit down and understand that the death of Charlie Kirk isn't sort of like a point of like things are gonna get worse. I feel like it's an indicator of where we are. Everything is getting twisted. Reasons are just excuses. And even the other day, I was trying to sort of like find a Ukrainian franchise, and I was convinced that a certain man was running it, like a singer. And then I couldn't find anything besides like one article. And I was like, what am I forgetting? And we've had that before, like with the Russian internet and Wikipedia. So this isn't anything new for Eastern Europe. But the problem is that this is gonna just keep escalating. This is gonna get worse. So obviously, people will start deleting tweets about Charlie Kirk, and if a new narrative shows up, like, I don't know, the killer was dating a trans woman or something, which I've seen some people start pushing, then it's gonna be trans people killed Charlie Kirk or something like that. And then they can just scrub off the internet and that's it. And I don't think we understand that we're in such a bizarre situation where the internet isn't just getting policed but really scrubbed. And I feel like we've had it before Charlie Kirk, but we didn't have it in such a open, bizarre scale. And obviously, people still need to talk out about topics, and we need to keep track of everything that's going on, whether it's Palestine, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's laws passing here and there. But the problem is that if indeed we're getting silenced for things, or if politicians are shifting their tweets, their headlines and articles, then that will just make it even worse for us, because we will be silenced, we will be policed, and at the end of the day, the censorship can just go sideways. It can just shift. And who knows what can you be cancelled over or accused of. And again, like, if people are so quick to bite new baits, also like we've seen like with Donald Trump, who can be Elon Musk's friends one day and then his enemy the next day, and then Elon will be advocating for riots in the UK, or he might be siding with the alt-right in Germany, and then they'll have a fallout, or he'll do a Nazi salute, then he'll say that Hitler was left. Like, all these people understand that there is no specific ideology right now. There is the whole idea, the whole concept of what is alt-right, what is right-wing right now. And all of this ideology just stems from a place of either hatred, or the working class mostly is insecurity from what is happening right now, and then they turn to hatred because they feel like, okay, we gave the left apparently some time to govern, and now they feel like because the left didn't give enough jobs, we need to turn it into more hatred. And people don't understand that in order to be in a successful society, to be in a good position yourself, everyone needs to be in a good position. And this whole idea that you need to think of yourself while discriminating against someone else to sort of do some sort of kick of dominance and superiority isn't what we need. And just because you feel down by life or something like ails you, it doesn't mean that you should be putting someone down. And specifically in political contexts. And even religion is performative now, so we have everything sort of spinning around this axis of how do I get more money, more wealth, more clicks. And this is just getting revealed to a more grotesque scale with Charlie Kirk's death. And that really bothers me. As a psychologist, as an LGBT activist, someone who just... I call me on YouTube, really. So, yeah. So, this is what I kind of wanted to say. I know I kind of went in different directions. So, I think it's more about the horrors after Charlie Kirk's death, which, is what's been going on and will continue to move on. Obviously, he'll probably continue to be seen as a martyr, as some pillar of free speech, even though all he did was hate, but So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to upset someone, feel free to send this to them. Yeah, that's pretty much it.